You are live.
Type of safety shot, trying to get the cue ball back to Bork, was always bringing the yellow into the middle of the table. Couldn't control it enough to get it safe, and it's cost him.
Yeah. Problems mounting for Shaun Murphy. Still needs a couple of snookers, even with just these three colours remaining now.
The black's not really any value to Shaun either. I don't think it's far enough off the cushion, so only really the pink to play in behind. It was a good attempt, but he left the blue.
And it's definitely over now. So bits and pieces in this scrappy frame, but another big one, and it's gone the way of Trump. With 4 more frames to come in this opening session, this one is done. And Judd Trump is now eyeing the real possibility of a commanding first session lead in this Shanghai Masters final. He leads 5-1. Well, these are the stats, and they don't make pretty reading for Shaun Murphy. Remember, he was quite brilliant in beating Mark Selby from 6-2 behind in the semi-finals. He's been a shadow of the player who produced that performance so far, and that's why he finds himself 5-1 behind. No fireworks from Trump, really, but he's just been that bit tidier. Has picked up from where Murphy has often left. An easy starter. Too many errors from Murphy. He's missed 3 with the rest, one of them almost unbelievable. And that's why Trump is leading as he is by 4 frames, with another 4 to come in this session. And the chance to build a very handsome lead. Judd Trump then, already just 6 frames away from the title, with 4 more to play in this session. I think right now, the way Murphy's playing, he would take a share of the remaining 4 frames, and that would still leave him in an awkward spot at 7-3 down, but he's going to have to find something from somewhere, Stephen. He's just not looked himself so far in this final.
No, he hasn't. He made a poor start. The first frame, well, the first couple of frames, I suppose, were really edgy. Just doesn't look to have settled very nicely. I'm not surprised he took the decision to leave the arena there. I dread to think the conversation he's having with himself in the bathroom, because I can assure you it's a pretty stern one. He'll be trying to get himself going, trying to get the blood pumping again, try and find something out there in the arena. But the flip side to that is, when you're trying too hard, it can be very difficult. Sometimes that can be a detriment to yourself.
So Judd Trump back in the arena, knowing that if he can win this frame, he's going to have a lead of some kind. It could yet be something close to unassailable. That's the concern for Murphy. Equally, if Murphy suddenly found his A game, he could yet get out of this session level. So all things still possible, but at the moment, very much advantage Judd Trump. What can Murphy summon in what remains of this opening session of the Shanghai Masters final? Judd Trump breaking off in frame 7.
You can see the warm welcome back into the arena that Shaun just received. You know, the crowd all want him to make an impact on this match. They want it to go all the way, get their money's worth. Let's see Murphy's reaction there. That says it all. He's played a good shot going into the pack. Good pot on the red. You're never quite sure where the cue ball is going to finish, but obviously when it isn't your day, it heads into the pocket.
And the cherry on top of the icing is that he's left a red over the hole as well. A perfect storm there for Murphy.
He must be thinking, what must I do to get into this game? But he can't really complain, Shaun. He's had a number of chances early on that, to be honest, he made a mess of. And that red he missed with the rest. I just got the feeling we was always going to be referring back to that as the part of this game where it really sort of turned on its head.
Particularly given that that chance had presented itself off the back of a fluke, which allowed him to lay the snooker, which Trump failed to escape. And the balls were all there for him. And of course, Trump was then able to do what he's done throughout this final so far, capitalise on the miss from Murphy, clear the table with a century. Positionally, that has gone wrong immediately, so he needs a good recovery shot on the stretch on this yellow.
3.
Any snooker player will tell you, we all know the game well enough to be able to see what's happening. Mistakes like that, unforgivable ones, the balls just really have a funny way of
4.
punishing you. It's not necessarily what your opponent's done. The balls just find a way of going awkward, or you're getting a little bit of bad luck here and there. It's just the game's way of telling you that you missed a really good opportunity.
11.
But Judd won't need to concern himself
12.
with all that. He's got a job to do. His job is to inflict as much damage to this game as possible in this session, just as he did against Ronnie yesterday. Still only dropped 8 frames in this event so far, including the one in this match today. It's been a thoroughly dominant display from Judd Trump, but he has had help, particularly in this game anyway. But it's what you do with that help when it comes along.
Yes, bar the previous frame, which was the scrappiest of the match, in which he missed
27.
a very makeable frame ball pink. He has been clinical in punishing Murphy's mistakes.
28. Thirty-one. 32. 37. 38.
So little angle on this black to go into the reds if he chooses to. Chose to play for the red beneath the black. Played it nicely.
45. 46.
Beautiful control. Nicely played. Just pushing a red out, not going into the pack with too much pace. Knew exactly what was going to happen there. Briefly referred to earlier, the last major final these two contested, the 2019 International Championship. That really was
34.
a hammering. Judd Trump coming out 10-3. Led 5-1 in that game as well. Shaun never really able to respond from Judd's good start in that previous final. And it looks to be going the same way here. History potentially repeating itself. So the bad fortune from Shaun Murphy has cost him again in this frame. Potted the red and went in off.
And left a sitter for Judd Trump to start this break, and it was a good initial yellow after the cue ball had landed slightly awkwardly. But of course, the pressure is off at the moment because he's got this comfortable lead, which he's about to extend. It's pretty routine for Trump so far in this final. He's not had to play at his best, which I'm sure he would have expected to have to do, given the way Murphy played in the semis. He's played within himself, but very effectively.
And now a real chance of a second century in this match.
$83. 89.
I would say he's probably cruising in around fourth gear at the minute, Judd, because he's not really sort of hit the heights we've seen, but he's still got a very commanding lead, and that will please him, knowing that there's still more in the tank to be able to draw upon should Murphy make a comeback
95.
and get involved in this match.
97.
So just this green for a 9th century of the tournament for Judd Trump. And just 11 away now from 1,000 for his career. And when you consider he's only been a pro since 05, that is some conversion rate. Led the tour last season with 79, became only the second player to make a century of centuries in a single season after Neil Robertson. Absolutely prolific in the break building stakes, Judd Trump.
109.
Shaun Murphy was unlucky at the start of this frame. The in-off, leaving the straightforward red. Tends to be the way when you're struggling. Judd Trump, though, is cruising. What a break. Century number 2 of the match. And he is taking an iron-like grip on this final. With 3 frames still to play, he could be out of sight by the end of session 1. He leads Shaun Murphy 6-1. So the problems mounting for the magician. Shaun Murphy, try as he might, just cannot get involved in this final at the moment. And things conspiring against him in that previous frame, but he has missed opportunities himself. Trump has taken full advantage. 5 frames clear. Possibility that it could be 8 come the end of this session, unless Murphy can get something going here in Shanghai. He'll be very disappointed with the way he's played to this point, particularly after how brilliantly he played 2 days ago. Damage limitation now for Murphy, guaranteed to be behind. Can he win 2 of the remaining 3 to give himself some sort of chance when they come back tonight? Anything less than that, and it's going to be an uphill battle, to put it mildly. Shaun Murphy fans look away now. The stats page not attractive. Just that one break, which could have been a maximum. And at that stage you thought, well, Murphy's now arrived, made it 2-1, broke down on 89, but nothing at all since then for him. And Trump has kicked on a couple of centuries. So frame 8, Murphy desperately needs it.
And he can't even get the break off right. He's definitely struggling. It's tough to see, particularly how well he played against Mark Selby, the way he came back and just really got his teeth into that game and found his scoring boots. Had a day off yesterday as well, so would have been nicely refreshed. Just hit a few balls on the practice table. He would have been really optimistic coming into this, playing probably the best snooker of the event so far, Shaun Murphy. But so far today, it's been all about Judd Trump. It's certainly all about damage limitation. There's no doubt about that. And even then, coming back from behind against someone like Judd, who is just so used to winning now, he just knows how to get the job done. It's going to be a big uphill battle for Shaun Murphy for the remainder of this session and this evening.
12. 13.
A stark reminder of how incredibly difficult this game is, even for the very best. One day you can't miss, and 2 days later, those pockets must seem like pinheads for Murphy.
20. 21. 28.
The other thing that Murphy is going to have to grapple with if Trump goes on to win this frame is keeping the belief that he can still win this match, because the best he could do is be 4 behind if Trump manages to bag this one as well. So even if he were to win the last 2 of the session, he'd still have a mountain to climb.
And look at the decision Judd has made a few moments ago. It's perfect on the black to go into the pack, but it wasn't the most inviting pack to attack from the black, so worked it out that the pink would not respot, which gave him access to this red. And in potting it, he can bring more reds into play.
Xu Ying, our referee, just making sure the pink is as it should be.
35.
Got to be in a direct line with its own spot, of course, without touching anything. Trump's just lost the cue ball a little there. This table, as we know, has been like lightning throughout the tournament.
He expected to go through the reds a little more than he did. He just glanced off another, and the pace he had on it was just too much to pull the cue ball up. Had he have got a thicker contact to the reds, he may have played it perfectly to bring them all into play. But again, just keeping his foot on Shaun Murphy, pushing a colour safe. Only a 36 point advantage in this frame. But he's remaining very focused, Judd Trump. You could see throughout that little interval as the referee was setting up this frame, he kept his eyes on the table, never took his eyes off the snooker table. He's thoroughly in the zone. He knows he's got a chance to do a lot of damage here. Brilliant shot from Judd Trump. Made more difficult by the fact he was playing it with pace to come across the blue to get the right angle. Did well there, had to steady himself. A phone just went off initially, got back up, reset. Knocked it in.
Six. 7. 12. 13. 18. 19.
Shaun Murphy will be getting that sinking feeling again. Trump's relentless push towards an unassailable first session advantage continues. That's the ball he needed to extend his lead to 6 frames and within 4 of the title. Incredible. Not what seemed likely at the outset.
13. 31. 36. 37. 42. 43.
The full arsenal of tricks out for Trump now that the frame is well and truly secured.
49.
The red stays up, but it doesn't matter. Judd Trump is close to his first Shanghai Masters title, only 4 frames away now, and Shaun Murphy's problems deepen. So 7-1 to Judd Trump, which means the worst he can be is 4 clear. But right now, Shaun Murphy must be wondering where his next frame is coming from. Just that one break in the entire final, the 89 in the 3rd frame. Aside from that, it's been a miserable session for Murphy. He was brilliant against Mark Selby today. He has been a shadow of the player who came from 6-2 behind, and he's going to have to produce even greater heroics if he's to turn this Shanghai Masters final his way. 2 more frames to come then in session 1. Trump only 4 away from the title.
Frame 9. Judd Trump to break.
What a session for Judd Trump. 7-1 up now on Shaun Murphy, with 2 more to come in this first session of 2. 11, of course, the target for the title. Murphy has some great comeback victories to his name, but even for him, this is going to have to take something extraordinary.
Yeah, because really it's not like he's being outplayed. Judd has obviously done the better of the scoring, but Murphy has had a lot of chances in this match, just unable to convert anything of any note, bar that maximum attempt in the 3rd frame. Been a litany of errors from Shaun Murphy. Judd just picking up the pieces as you would expect.
Trump's breaks 59, 55, and the 200 breaks 1-2-2 in the frame before last.
Well, Judd up very quick and gesticulates that the cue ball may have deviated. And yet again, Murphy comes to the table with nothing to really look at. He must be about ready to just launch his cue into row's edge, Shaun Murphy, because it's a real struggle out there. Not just the way he is playing, but also the run of the ball as well now has definitely turned. All from that bad miss in the other frame, then he missed the red with the rest. He must be feeling that everything he does at the minute is going to cost him. Judd's starting to knock them in from everywhere.
12. 13. 20.
Just studying the pack, Judd. Not the best pack to go into, really, because they are all quite spread. Had a little look at a possible plan. 3-ball through the pack of reds. Chose against it. It wasn't the best pack to go into. And now he's hoping that he's got a shot at something.
28.
Well, it's touching ball, so I suppose every cloud he can play away from these reds and try and put Shaun in trouble.
Judd, 28.
What has Shaun Murphy got left after what has been a chastening session for him? If he could somehow win this frame and the last, well, he'd be in the same situation as he was at one stage against Mark Selby, and we know what happened then. 6-2 behind before the final frame of their first session. Ended up winning 8 of the last 10 quite brilliantly. But to do it 2 matches running and against a player oozing confidence, fresh from that superb victory over O'Sullivan. A Herculean task for Murphy from here.
There'll be a lot of Judd Trump fans in this arena, as there will Shaun Murphy fans. But first and foremost, they're all snooker fans. And they'd love to see, they'll be desperate to see Murphy make a comeback, make a go of it. They want to see a closely contested final.
Well, elated vocal encouragement for Shaun Murphy. can he do with this opportunity? If you're in Murphy's corner at the moment and you're looking for reasons to be cheerful, well, it was only 2 days ago, wasn't it, that he played lights out. So he knows the game is there. It's in there somewhere. It hasn't come out today so far. Right now, he just needs a frame. Any frame. Something to build on.
8.
7-3, given the way things have gone for him today, would be a reasonable result.
9.
It would be more than reasonable. I think Murphy would be absolutely buzzing to be 7-3 down after this session. If he can just steady himself here for this visit, just try and take the 6 reds away from around the pink, get with his nose in front in this frame, and just try and see it out, do whatever it takes to just get this frame on the board. Give himself with just a glimmer of hope.
15.
We've all seen Shaun's post-match interviews throughout the week. And as he said, one thing he won't do is give up. He never gives up. He'll continue to dig deep and be the consummate professional. He always has done.
20.
That's always the way he's played.
21.
And he also said it's never over until it's over, which it isn't. Snooker's a funny game and things can turn around very quickly. As long as you're in there, you've got a chance.
$28. 29.
So a little cannon to the red, just left of the pink, would be ideal. Leaving on the red to right corner. If he's not straight on this red, and he's slightly low, we could push the other red into play as well.
A rare spell in the chair for Judd Trump.
37. 44. 45.
It's already Trump's, or rather Murphy's, second best break of the final, which says it all, really.
The crowd enjoyed that one, seeing the red being promoted from the cushion, but this is far from easy. The cue ball close to the cushion made it difficult to really get anything on the cue ball, and that's a brilliant shot from Shaun Murphy. That's very missable. Cueing down on the ball like that, very easy to miss that one. Playing with side to check the cue ball in and out of balk as well. Fantastic shot.
$51.
Again, he was willing that cue ball to pull up, and it's landed quite awkwardly. These are far from easy. Pocket out of his eye line, trusting to the line he selects. It proved to be
Shaun Murphy.
the difference there. If that cue ball pushes out into the table a little more, it's a much easier shot than that.
Always looked just a little wide. But for now, at least, he's back in the frame. 28 in front, 51 on.
One.
This really would be the final straw for Murphy if Trump can conjure a clearance here. Clearly, there's a lot of work to do to make that happen. Doesn't look as though he's quite got the cannon required to make the pot.
It was tough to get on that red, really, from that cannon. He would have liked to have caught the right side of the red as we were looking at it, rather than the left side, the one he did catch. Just lacking a slight bit of pace, but wasn't really able to play it any firmer because he was quite low on the black. Millimetres away. But he's followed it up with a nice safety shot.
You made the point that he's still very much in the zone, isn't he, Trump? He's built this fantastic position. He doesn't want to give Murphy any encouragement about getting back into this final. Keeping the pressure on.
Shaun in trouble here. Obviously, he's got to hit the red, but he's got to get it safe as well. There's nothing safe on this table. If he goes 2 cushions and misses it, there's a chance of leaving a free ball.
Well, I missed.
Well, I suppose hitting the pink helps that cause.
Bit of work for Zhu Ying to do to replace these balls.
Murphy trying to go at this red with pace, just rely on a little bit of luck to get it safe. If the past few frames have been anything to go by, Shaun may hit this red and we'll probably expect to leave it the way things have gone.
Just going to take a look at still frame, I think, to ensure that the cue ball is as it should be. Seems to need to come back towards the baulk cushion. Oh, that's pretty much perfect, isn't it? Really handy, that technology, that little circle denoting exactly where the cue ball was. Pink also needs some adjusting. Applause from the crowd, but there still seems to be some dispute as to whether they're back as they were. Trump directing traffic out there. That's the first time we've seen Murphy smile today. Fancy having a go? Well, at least he's not lost his sense of humour, the magician. Now, where's this all ending up? We'll find out in due course. Eventually, maybe. possibly.
Well, it's good to see Shaun making a little bit of a joke. If you can't laugh, you'll probably be crying. He's done well there to get the red safe, or safe-ish.
Aside from the fact that he's done the lion's share of the scoring, Trump's safety has also been in the main very good. He's keeping the pressure on Murphy, making him earn this elusive second frame. Trouble.
Big trouble, because he can't just rest up to that red on the top cushion, because he'll leave the other one. So again, having to go at the reds at pace.
Well, and miss.
Was hoping for any sort of edge on that red.
Foul and a miss, but the red is obviously on for Trump. Only 9 points behind, everything is on.
One.
Well, he's blessed with a lot of cue power, Judd. If he's pretty straight on this green, he can just bring the cue ball all the way back down this left side of the table, play for the red into right corner. Just got a little bit of angle on it. Needs to get into it. Oh, he's chipped the white. Well, it's not very often you see that from Judd Trump. As I say, he's got so much cue power. Usually that shot is effortless for Judd.
The crowd enjoyed that one. This frame is taking on an eccentric nature. Well, Murphy just desperate to get this frame on the board by hook or by crook. Could have done without that, unless he ends up with the snooker.
Oh no.
He's left it. Perhaps not as easy as it looks on screen.
Yeah, if he was right behind this, it's unmissable, but the cue ball is travelling. There's not a lot of pocket to aim at. And even potting the red, he needs to get the cue ball out of there. Otherwise, he'll be playing his colour from range. Decision time for Judd. There may not be all that value in taking this red on. Now you can see there's the miscue. That usually happens when a player miscues. Leaves the bit of the chalk on the white.
And that's another good safety from Judd Trump. Snookered again, Murphy.
Again, it'd be a fullish contact if he can. Just to try and get distance. Yeah, he's okay.
So often that double kiss proves to be very costly. Not on this occasion, happily for Murphy. He'll take anything going at the moment. He looks a little bewildered, doesn't he, about how things have unfolded today. This is not what he would have had in mind at the start of the match, given his performance against Selby. But that's a big error from Trump. Now here is the chance that Shaun Murphy has to take.
保持安静，谢谢。
Checking that the yellow passes the blue, which seems the only obvious obstacle, albeit the green is towards the top end of the table. Big visit.
1.
He's got a catalogue of facial expressions, hasn't he, Shaun Murphy? Regardless of how he's playing, he's always great value. I'm sure we'll see a bit of a smirk if he converts this chance.
I think there could be the ironic fist pump, actually.
Yeah. Wouldn't be surprised to see the fist pump.
No, he's just spotted that bit of chalk that Stephen referenced as a result of that dramatic miscue from Trump. Yeah, it was seemingly ingrained on the cue ball, hence some fairly vigorous polishing required to get rid of it.
Green to brown.
5.
He's obviously the shot. Needs an angle. He's played it perfectly. Nice to just come across the face of the brown from the side cushion. Well, decided to go 2 cushions there?
8.
I'm gobsmacked at where he's ended up. I mean, surely he's not had a bounce big enough to put the cue ball there. It always looked pretty pacey.
That's incredible, really, isn't it?
Dear me, that's a shocker.
Oh, but that's a great pot. That is a fantastic pot from Murphy, given what just happened with things going pear-shaped positionally, and that is the ball he needed. Terrific pot in the circumstances.
Yeah, the best of the match from Shaun Murphy so far.
Shaun Murphy 12.
So Trump needs a snooker.
请保持安静，谢谢。
Crowd getting excited at the end of this session, which by and large has been one that Murphy will want to forget quickly, but he could still get out of it, only 4 behind. And should certainly win this one now. It's been a struggle once again, only his second half century of the final, and that looked like not being enough at one stage before the miscue. But the blue has gone in, and Murphy will be mighty relieved to finally get his second frame on the score sheet.
Shaun Murphy 5.
25 the difference. It's 2 snookers for Trump, who remains in his chair. Some light relief at last for Shaun Murphy. He's still got an awful lot to do with one more frame to come. He trails 7-2. And we're building up to Paris.
frame of this session. Shaun Murphy to break.
And so to the final frame of the first session of the Shanghai Masters final. Shaun Murphy finally has a bit of traction, closing the gap to 5, but he needs this frame just as badly. If he can win it, then there's still some hope for him when they come back tonight.
Got very close to that red. Took some cue in that from the baulk cushion. Stayed with it all the way. But Murphy has a chance at this red to the yellow bag. Oh, he's knocked it in. Brilliant shot from Shaun.
The crowd have got really engaged in this towards the back end of this session. Bit of fun and games in the previous frame. Murphy able to crack a smile despite what has been a very frustrating session for him overall, which could still end on a positive note. And that was a brilliant initial red. And you can be sure that Judd Trump will not be taking anything for granted. Yes, he's had a great session himself, but he knows what Murphy did to Selby, and he knows he's got previous when it comes to momentous fight backs.
Little delicate cannon there just to hold the cue ball and leave himself on this red. Push the other one away from the black as well. Not the best shot he's ever played. Gonna have to go around the back of the black now, maybe, unless he can get enough on the cue ball. He could just about. We'd love to go into the pack here, leaving that red just above the black where it is. As a bit of insurance, try and screw the cue ball out. Knowing you're going to be on that red. Free shot to bring more reds into play.
32.
A little bit of pressure on this next one. Slightly closer to the side cushion than he would have liked. That was excellent.
33.
Yeah, that was really well navigated because that cue ball was always going close to that red. Played it perfectly. Big visit now for Shaun. He's got the reds nice. As I say, as bad as this session has been for him, if he can get out 7-3 down, I suppose it will probably feel like a bit of a result. There's a strange psychology to these long formats. Could have been 9-1 down, but all of a sudden 7-3 doesn't feel so bad.
38.
And you expect his level to increase for the evening session. You know, he's played wonderfully all week. He's been the player of the tournament for me so far. He'll be clinging on to that hope that he can replicate that kind of form.
39.
And he's always loved the big stage, Shaun Murphy. He's a showman. In his own words, he's a show-off. He likes being the centre of attention. He likes to entertain. Some of his finest performances have come
46.
on the biggest stages, in front of a big crowd like this. He can get inspired. And when he does that, he can become very dangerous.
47.
And all of those things, you can be sure, will be in the back of Trump's mind, even though he's going to come out of this session very well placed, regardless of this frame. Murphy converts this opportunity, starts fast this evening. We could yet be in for something special.
$54. 55.
If you'd have offered Judd 7-3 before this match, the way Shaun Murphy has played this week, he'd have probably said, where do you sign me up? Because it's a healthy lead. But just the way Shaun has finished this, kept his hopes alive, it would just give something for Judd to think about. But of course, we know how good a winner Judd Trump has become. Won 5 events last season. Be looking to kickstart his campaign this year with another trophy, one that he's not yet got his name on.
The other thing that might be in the back of Trump's mind is that he had exactly this lead over John Higgins back in 2012. Lost in a decider. He's lost twice in the final frame in this tournament. And this sport has a habit of reminding you of your worst moments, even when you're in a great position. All of this is theoretical at the moment. Murphy is going to have to raise his game appreciably. First things first, clinch this frame, and he's on the cusp of doing it. This black will suffice for back-to-back frames. And you've got to give him credit. We know what a fighter he is. He made that point after his comeback victory over Selby, that he never quits. He'll always give it everything, even if the cause looks hopeless, as it was beginning to look at 7-1 down. But he's finishing what has been a frustrating afternoon here in Shanghai on the front foot.
81.
Now the chance to sign off with a century.
Yeah, he's done very well here, Shaun. You can tell he's just found a little something towards the end of this by how he puts his chalk back in his chalk pocket. He really puts it back in there with authority, doesn't he, when he's in the groove again?
Yeah, the whole Murphy swagger around the table is always a barometer of how he's feeling. We haven't seen that swagger today, but maybe
96.
we could yet in the decisive session tonight. Terrific recovery shot to keep the century on track. Started this break with a lovely long red, and there it is. Murphy.
Give us the nod, Shaun. Give us the nod. There it is.
He didn't disappoint. Belatedly finding the form that did for Selby. But better late than never.
Brilliant. Brilliant end to the session, because he's really been put through it. He's had to stand up and find something, and he has done. He's at least kept his hopes alive.
And that Brown in the previous frame, when he botched the position on frame ball, was gutsy as well. At that stage, Trump might have been entertaining a 9-1 session, and then the match is over. 7-3, it's not. Take nothing away from Trump's performance. He's been rock solid. And he's been pretty ruthless in punishing Murphy's many errors in the early frames, but he knows the job is far from done.
131.
And all of a sudden, he looks like Shaun Murphy again. The action is back.
126.
For whatever reason, he's looked subdued for a lot of this session, but he's finishing it in the right way.
132.
And we could yet be in for a grandstand finish tonight. It's close. Oh, unlucky. It's been Judd Trump's afternoon in Shanghai. And he smiles as he shakes Shaun Murphy's hand, but Murphy's given himself a glimmer by winning back-to-back frames, including a century, his 5th of the tournament. But it's Trump who's 4 away from the title. He leads by 7 frames to 3. Well, that's made things a good deal more interesting for these fans coming back this evening for the conclusive session of this Shanghai Masters final. It was looking like a procession for Judd Trump. Somewhat less so now that Murphy has won those final 2 frames and finishing the session as well on the high of a century break. As we look at the stats, of course, predominantly they're in favour of Trump, who's made a couple of tons himself for a total of 9 in this tournament. He's been outstanding and he's very much in control. But Murphy's just given him something to think about in the gap between sessions. And of course, we will be back at 12:30 UK time for the conclusion of this Shanghai Masters final. Dave Hendon and Neil Foles will be here to bring you the climax of what has been a fantastic 7 days of action here in Shanghai, and who knows, the best maybe yet to come. Shaun Murphy will certainly hope so. Can he make a fast start tonight and make a real conclusion at 12:30 UK?
椅子全部铺上去啊！给你了呀。我的不给你好吧？不给你了呀。不是韩月也来的，因为我怎么可能没来？我今天啊，我看一下照片，我弄不了。水桶带出来是倒水的，不是装饮料的，出 之前那个裤子是免钱，一会儿去做去拿色纸扣吧。然后我划呀。啊，数字又少了，你看。放在哪里？放在椅子上。因为他们一直给我要钱，等一会儿吃完饭还是去做观众。啊，你这个在椅子上还在哪里？我这有点夹的。啊，这是夹的放。